Hello and welcome to the Hotkeys podcast, your shortcut to various opinions on all things pop culture. This is the episode for the week of April the 19th, 2023. I'm your host for this week, David Parker, and joining me tonight is only...
Landon Browning!
Michael is, I think, at a special 20th anniversary screening of The Return of the King, so he is where I would like to be tonight. Like, I was trying to get just a Landon cast going, but the nearest theater for me is 4.5 hours away, so it, you know, when that's longer than the movie, like, it just doesn't make sense.
No. Is it an extended cut?
I think it is. I think it's the extended. I asked Michael, because he called me the other day. He was like, hey, I wanted to let you know that I won't be able to record on Wednesday because I'm doing this. Like, I felt bad and everything.
That seems like a valid reason to miss the show for, like, especially like a pop cult like podcast.
Well, yeah, and it's like arguably his and my favorite movie, so he's not skipping it to watch, like, you know, Rush Hour 3 or whatever. Isn't Fellowship of the Ring his favorite though? Fellowship is his favorite, but I mean, all of the favorite series. And I did ask. I asked him if it was all of the movies, and he was like, "Well, no, it's just a third one because that would take all day."
That'd be insane.
And I mean, we're recording on a Wednesday, so I mean, I don't think Michael's going to take the day off to watch, 13 hours Lord of the Rings.
That would be, that would be kind of like, I'm not a fan of those movies, but if it was like they're going to do a 13-hour movie theater marathon, like that'd be kind of a fun thing to do with people. Mm-hmm. Like you go to the
I think so.
Hang out all day, like until like everybody started smelling, by like hour 8, all these, people like packed in the theater.
Hey,
like,
Lord of the Rings fans, all respect personal hygiene. Okay, it's not a Harry Potter. It's not a Harry Potter marathon landing. Come on. Just kidding. I'm sure there are many Lord of the Rings fans who smell disgusting. And then Will is... I'm not sure what Will's doing.
He didn't... Yeah.
So
he's MIA.
So it's just the two of us tonight. It'll probably be...
just the two of us.
Shorter, more intimate
we can
setting.
Record if we try.
Well, we can... we talked a little bit about it, I think, last week, but Landon finished the Netflix original series, Bojack Horseman. And we haven't talked much about it. It's a show I've talked about for years and years because I've really liked it. And one of my friends finally decided to watch it. And so here we are, and we can talk about Bojack Horseman, the entire series. Full spoilers. Warning for people listening. So
sorry, my little box thing that I use to record solo has lots of problems. So sorry.
So Bojack Horseman.
Sorry, I derailed your entire little spiel.
No, you're fine. No, we'll just do a Michael and me episode next week.
No, please.
Forced hiatus for Landon.
Please.
Landon doesn't get canceled for sexual perversion like other people do. No, it's for technical difficulties. Well, so you finished BoJack for the first time. I think it's a show you will probably watch again. Is going to be my guess.
Yeah, probably revisit it in 5 years and see how it affects me then. There's a dark. I was gonna. Never mind.
So
wow, I got to rewatch BoJack. We made it. Here's the 30.
Oof. Yeah, that's that's a dark show to be like a milestone for marking your ever encroaching march towards death.
It seems appropriate though.
Yeah, because spoilers. The show is filled with lots of death.
Yeah, it kind of is. It feels like it operates on a once a season. Kind of feel like there's a major kind of death that happens. I don't know.
But the last season, what are your thoughts on, or I guess the last 2 seasons, because we haven't really talked much about those 2.
So we're gonna get into spoilers, right?
Yeah. I was gonna say this is full spoiler warning for.
So the end of season 4 is when he checks himself into rehab, right?
Yes.
I think season 4 is probably my favorite of the show. Season 5 is really good, but I thought that it may have peaked a little bit in season 4. And then at first I wasn't sure. Season 5, I still thought it was really, really good. But I don't know. It's kind of like losing this false sense of security because like for a lot of that season, like Bojack is not spiraling. Like he's
Hmm.
trying to like, it's probably like the longest stretch where he's actually trying to like improve himself. But like at the center of it is still like he's kind of doing it like probably for the wrong
Oh,
reasons. I feel like.
and actually, it's the end of season 5. I'm sorry, end of season 5 where he goes into rehab.
Oh, there's 6 seasons. Sorry,
Yeah,
for some reason I was thinking the 5th season was
yeah.
the last. So I guess season 5 is probably my favorite season. Then sorry, for some reason I thought there was only 5 seasons. But I don't know. Just watching like his spiraling over and over again was pretty great. I don't know. Even towards like in the second half of season 6 when he's basically like about to be canceled, for all the stuff he did with Sarah Lynn.
Well,
And
too, like in that season, you like he gets off like better than I think what could have happened. Like it was almost to the point where, well, I mean, I guess he does go to prison. So I was going to say a lot of the stuff that's happening, especially towards the like the middle of season 6, closer to the end, is it seems like there's more like legal repercussions that he's going to have to face and potentially go to there's like some big. I mean, he has to. There's a big settlement he has, and then it kind of culminates in him going to prison, which I guess is better than him dying. Because when I first watched the show, I was almost convinced that the show was going to either end with him dying or him getting very close to death. You know, and
yeah, I assume the show would end with him dying. That's what I assumed from basically the start of it. Especially even just with the opening credits stuff, like him like falling in the pool, like, which I'm pretty sure. I mean, that shot happens in the show, I believe, but I kind of just assumed it would end with him dying. Like,
yeah, the second to the last episode in the whole series, it's one of those. There's many. There's like sometimes like 1 or 2 a season where there's kind of like they're a little more avant-garde in their approach. Yeah, a little more surreal in how they approach the storytelling in the episode. And some of the stuff you're not sure if it's like, dreams or just, some flights of fantasy or something. And they do that quite a bit in this show. Like it's like at least once or twice a season. And so the second to the last episode is one where they do that. And I like the whole thing of him like nearly drowning because it's almost like the show has been like beating you over the head with that the whole since the beginning, like since the opening credits of like what's like it's him like drowning, not always literally, but sometimes very figuratively, and that's what like nearly causes him to die in that episode. And
I honestly even think they could have that second to last episode could have been the finale. I feel like they could have just as easily like done that. But
I think they easily could have. I think it would have left you a little. I think it would have been a good end for Bojack. I think it would have left a little bit for all of the side characters because the last episode I think does a really good job with like Bojack is the main character of the show and you spend the most time with him throughout the whole series. But as the show goes on, it really develops a lot of these side characters into feeling much more like co-stars as opposed to just like side characters of Bojack. And in
there's entire episode, there's entire episodes where like Bojack's barely in it, I believe. Like,
yeah, and the last episode does a good job of like giving moments with all of those like all the characters with Bojack. Like there's the scene with Todd on the beach, which I really like.
Great.
The Mr. Peanut Butter at the beginning, where like he picks him up, and they have a really good interaction. And then it's him talking with Princess Carolyn at the party, right?
They're like dance. It's her wedding.
When they dance, they have a really good moment there. And then of course it ends kind of with like the two I'd say most main characters in the show, Diane and Bojack, having a really long conversation. It's kind of like it's very much in the vein of a lot of their other conversations that they've had. Like very very deep and profound, and talking about like their purpose, their meaning, like where they failed, where they wish they could have done better. And so their interaction together at the very end also. And that's essentially how the show ends, is them just talking together, sitting on the roof. So,
which is a great last shot, like of them.
Yeah. Because
hands up, like
because they've had a lot of like rooftop conversations. That's something that was very kind of a through line that the show had, like where they they would sit together, like sometimes smoking and talking on various roofs. Like it's just a kind of a funny thing that's how they end the show. So I think like you had texted me that the show does kind of end more on like a note of like hopefulness, I guess, which I mean, I think anything other than him dying like gives that little bit of a hope. Like it's still though is like his, I guess his like downfall, and like in the context of the last episode, like he still is not off. Like he is still in prison. Essentially,
he's on like a release thing.
Yeah, some type of release. So
yeah, and I like how it implies that like he's like talking about like how he's done with acting, and then Princess Carolyn's like, oh, well, maybe I don't know, people are kind of coming around, and like he's immediately almost back in that like, oh well, I could act again. You know, he's like I feel like his biggest addiction over the course of the show is like wanting people to like him, almost, or like wanting to be the star. Like even when he almost basically dodges getting canceled after he does the interview, like he would have been in the clear, except for he wants to go back because like he wants to be on the
you mean that second interview?
Yeah, the second interview, which is
his life would have gone
horrible.
so much differently if he would have just been okay with that one one interview.
But yeah, I don't know. It's a great show. I mean, some of the saddest stuff I've ever seen in television from, you know, crudely, you know, like animated animal people. Like, so a lot of depth. I mean, characters that I feel like didn't start with a lot, like Todd or Mr. Peanut Butter, who didn't have, I feel like, a ton of depth in like season 1. They really build onto them like in the coming like seasons. Like I don't feel like any character is like wasted. So, which is nice because a lot of shows I feel like don't utilize the entire cast. So even minor characters that are only in it for a handful of episodes.
Yeah, I mean, like Sarah Lynn, for instance. Like she starts out kind of as like just this woman who like had like a bad like childhood as a childhood actor, and for the first season, like it's really only played for laughs. There's not much there to that. Like it's just like, oh, it's, you know, as a, you know, child actor who like had a scarred childhood,
pop star,
and then pop star, but basically a spoof of, you know, Miley Cyrus and Amanda Bynes and like all those other kind of like, let's say mid 2000s in particular, Lindsay Lohan actresses or singers. So, but then like as it progresses, like when you get to like season 3 and like heavy season 3 spoilers, like when the first time I watched the show, when it got to like her death, like that really was like a point in the show when I was watching it where I was like, okay, like this, I mean, there were sad moments before that and like kind of heavy moments, but that in BoJack I think is like a big turning point in particular.
Well, because even earlier in the episode they do like a fake out with her, like he's like, oh, are you like, you know? And so then you're like, oh, like they're not gonna, you know, they're not, they wouldn't kill her off, like, and then the show deals so much with like depression and trauma, just things that like, I don't know, you don't see, I think, in a lot of cartoons in particular, and you see it in other TV shows, but I think the way they tackle it in BoJack Horseman, I think is better than most other TV shows I've seen before. I don't know if it's easier to suspend disbelief because it's an animated show, because it has to deal with like animals and stuff, and it makes it easier to like, I think, feel I don't know, maybe like more connected with the characters in a sense. I don't know if that makes sense. But I don't know. I also think it's easier to buy in with like, there's a lot of colorful stuff going on. They still like have a lot of jokes. Like the show is still extremely funny, like even in the like dark stuff, where if it was just like especially a lot of like animal type jokes, like puns, or like just even background shots of like animals doing animal type things while they're like dressed as businessmen, or, you know, like
and they do that so well in the entire series. Like the animal puns they have in the show are like, they're really like, if you like puns, this show is for you.
Yeah. So I mean, like if you took this and made them all human characters, you would lose all of that. And if it was live action, you lose all of that humor. And then a lot of the physical comedy, there's a lot of absurdist stuff happening that wouldn't translate. Like the robot, like the sex robot.
Henry Fondle.
And yeah.
I love the scene where like he's saying all these like explicit things, and the woman he's talking to is like totally okay with it. And then when he starts when when he starts like going off the rails, and the things he's saying don't sound sexual, and then that's when the lady freaks out. And
it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't really watched much else like since finishing that outside of just watching like Mandalorian every week, and then I've watched some Curb Your Enthusiasm, which that show is just like finished season 5, which is basically I think the season where like Richard Lewis needs a kidney. So, which there's so much funny stuff that happens with that. Like he's just going and visiting his cousin in the hospital that's in a coma, basically just wishing for him to die. Like there's the amount of Now I'm in season 6. I don't really know what the main plot line's going to be, but just the situations he gets himself in are so hilarious. Like
I love Curb.
Yeah, it's just so great. Like I love just the way he handles himself. Like it's so fun. Yeah.
Well, it's a good break too from like BoJack Horseman.
Yeah, I need to find another. I feel like I need to jump into another like multi-season like drama type show. There's like a handful. Like I kind of want to watch Sopranos because I stopped like 1 or 2 seasons into that. I want to get back into Boardwalk Empire. But then I also kind of just want to watch a miniseries at the same time. So I don't know. Gotta make up my mind.
Yeah, there's so much TV that I want to watch.
Yeah, there's some. Yeah. I'm really picky. I kind of want to watch another show I got into and stopped was The Expanse, which is a sci-fi show.
Oh, I've heard good things about that. I think I watched the first episode.
Yeah, which I think it's done with its run. I think it because it was on the Sci-Fi Channel. I believe I want to say it was on Sci-Fi.
I think so. And then wasn't it picked up on Amazon or something?
Yep, Amazon saved it. I think Sci-Fi canceled after like 3 years or something, and then Amazon picked it up for like another 3 or 4. But I want to play that because like I just finished Dead Space, and so now I'm in a sci-fi move. Because Dead Space, man, that game is so stinking good. Like,
oh yeah, I'm really glad that you finally played it. It is an awesome game.
It's probably like one of my favorite. I mean, it's probably a top 10 for me, honestly. Like it's like the combat is so fun. Like like for a video game, the story I think is like really cool. Like just like all the lore and like all the weird, like I love all like the religious crap going on and like the whole marker thing. Like, I mean, it feels like Event Horizon, basically in a game. Like the enemy designs are creepy. Like everything on the ship, like it's kind of like it's not as good as BioShock, but it has that same similar vibe of like you're showing up to this place like after like everything bad has happened, basically. Like you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like.
Well, you're Isaac the engineer coming to like fix the problem, right? And
save your girlfriend or whatever, your wife, and like all these weird stuff happen. Like the combats, it felt like so old school almost. Like I feel like there's not a lot of games like it anymore. Where like I don't know, I just felt like a joy playing it. Like the UI is really good. Like it's not bloated. Like almost every gun was fun. There was only one gun I like found basically useless out of like the arsenal of like 8 guns you get, which is refreshing. Like I feel like a lot of games I just stick to like 1 or 2 the entire run.
Which was the gun you didn't like?
It was the line gun. It like shot. It was like it felt like it was like a plasma cutter, but it shot like 4 of them.
Oh, is it like way wider?
Yes, I felt like it was worthless. Like
does that have like a mine attachment or something?
You can like its secondary fire is like because each gun has a secondary fire, which is really fun. Like its secondary fire was like basically you can put down like a mine that has like a tripwire, like it shoots out a laser and it crosses.
I know which one you're talking about then.
And that was the only like in the game. There's trophies for getting like 30 kills with like each weapon. That was like the only one that I had to like
farm,
go out of essentially farm to get because like I just found it like worthless. So I mean there was other ones that I liked more. I mean I probably towards the end like the plasma cutter was probably my favorite at the end because I fully upgraded it and it was like mowing enemies down. But the plasma cutter was really fun. I really liked I actually thought the flamethrower was really good, which I typically in games don't like the flamethrower weapons. But this one, it actually felt super useful. There's like a shotgun, but it's like an air blast. They like call it like the force gun.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing, like, it like wrecks. Like if you shoot close range, it's almost, I feel like it like peels off the entire skin of like the enemy you're shooting it at. And then they're just like this like bloody mess still coming at you. Like they get up and like, they're like now just like, from head to toe, just like covered in like all their skin's gone, just like horrifying in its own right. Like, what was another gun? There's like a chainsaw gun, like it like shoots like a levitating saw blade.
Yeah, and then it comes back, right?
you can either hit the trigger and like it just hovers in front of you and you can basically just walk and like continually do like damage to an enemy, or you can like shoot it and it'll like ricochet off the walls and like hit multiple enemies. That weapon I used that weapon like a ton because it felt like it was like really like the damage to like ammo output was really
Was
high.
high.
Like if you only like you could typically kill like a normal enemy with just one round if you got up close, like, and it would continually like it would stun them enough where they couldn't ever attack you if there was just like one enemy. So, and then I guess just like the assault rifle was really good too. I use that a lot.
So the I guess spoilers for the story of Dead Space. I really liked the story of the first game, except for some stuff at the end. And I think the issue I had was with the voice actress that shows that does some stuff. How did you feel about the end of the game? I want to know if they've either
like
changed some things or
explain. Let's just spoil it. Just spoil
okay,
it,
because
like,
it's not quite like a betrayal, right? I mean, it's sort of a betrayal.
Oh, the girl that's what's her name? Kendra Daniels. Yeah.
Yeah.
She essentially also, so on this, I'm gonna just quick aside, like a title of like the trophy for beating that chapter is called Betrayal, which I feel like is super like it's like okay, like what? Like so I was like looking at the trophies and like at that point, like, you know, I saw the trophy earlier, I'm like, all right, well, who's gonna betray me? And then, you know, like by the time you get to that point in the game, there's like,
I mean, there are so few people in this game. Like,
well, yeah, like at that point, I'm like, well, it's either like at that point in the game, there was like literally there was me and two other people that were alive, like on the
maybe you were going to be doing the betraying, Landon.
Well, so I'm like, well, it's either this unitologist guy that I just met like a little while ago that's helping us. So it's like either it's going to be a quick turnaround where we, or it's going to be, you know, the person that would actually feel like a betrayal from. So, yeah, so she kills this one guy that's like trying to help you, and it's basically revealed that she's been working for like a government agency the entire time. And then like she kills, well, I guess the big twist for the game. Actually, well, what bothered you about it? Like just the voice acting of her character, or
I don't quite remember. I just remember like the feeling that I had with that was like, oh man, like I wish they would have done something a little bit better. I think if I remember correctly, the acting was not good from her. Especially like post betrayal. I'm assuming they redid voice acting for the game.
It's a different voice actress.
So was there any of that bothered you? Like if it didn't, then I'm betting that it probably wouldn't bother me either. Because if I remember correctly, the issue really was with some performance stuff. It came off really melodramatic and cheesy. Was how I felt in the moment, which was really a bummer because up to that point it was really good, and even the little bit after that is, but there's very little I think of the game after that point. It happens very close to the end.
Yeah, I didn't bother me. The only part that bothered me is I liked that character, so I was like kind of bummed like that there was a betrayal. The acting was fine though.
I think too, like the faces weren't quite figured out in was it 2008 2009 when the game came out. So I think that too was an issue, like where it looked kind of wonky, and that there's no way that would be a problem today. So
all the animations look great. I mean, even like cause most of the game you're just seeing her face over like a video call, but then I mean you see it in the beginning and at the end.
Other than that, I thought the first game was basically like, and I'm going to sound like Will here, I thought the game was basically a masterpiece.
So
if that's something that they were able to fix just with like some better animation and better voice acting and maybe just some slightly rewritten dialogue, then I imagine that this game probably is like a real masterpiece.
Well, you should play it because they didn't just change like stuff like that. They changed like entire gameplay sections. Like they changed all the zero gravity. All the zero gravity stuff is completely different. Like I know in like the original, like you just jump from point to point when you're in zero gravity.
Do they do it so it's like Prey, where it, like you kind of can have more control?
You're in full control. You're just basically like in a 3D plane. Like you have like jets and stuff, and you're flying all around.
Because I like how Prey does that really, really well.
Yeah, it feels like Prey.
Yeah. Which Prey is a very similar game, I'd say, thematically to Dead Space. But do you know if there's any talk of them redoing the second game then? Because
I believe so.
When the second game came out, it was, I think, regarded even better than the first game.
That's what I've heard.
I played the second game back when it first came out, like in 2011. I had never played the first game, and I loved Dead Space 2. I thought it was like an amazing game. And then it was years later that I played the first one on PC, and I was kind of apprehensive because I had always heard that the second game was better than the first. But by the time I finished the first game, I think I liked it better than the second game. But the second game has some like really cool story moments that I think easily surpass some of the story in the first game.
Well, that makes me excited.
Not to like spoil some things, but there's some amazing moments in the story of Dead Space 2, especially like the second half of the game, and I'm excited. Yeah, so I'm hoping they remake that because the second game is good. If
I think they will, I think the remake sold really well. So.
I mean the second game I have on Steam, and I was playing a little bit of it a couple years ago, and I thought it looked really good. I mean, so you could probably play the second game on your computer.
I'm gonna wait for the remake. I mean,
what if it's like years away, Landon?
I'm fine waiting years like that. Like,
you don't have years.
Wait, what?
The necromorphs are coming.
Yeah, the remake of Dead Space. I have not played the original. But the remake is probably one of the best looking graphically games I've ever played. Like hands down.
I mean, I will play the remake at some point. Either like if it goes on sale or I find it at the library.
Okay. My only problems. So I'll say my only problems with the game. Were that I did have some technical issues. Like the game for the most part ran extremely well, almost like literally even like just if the application was closed, like booting it up, like you'd have like the title screen and then you just hit continue with no loading. Like from like booting the game up to like back to where you like were playing is like probably like a 10-second from like you're playing Fortnite with your bros to like you start up the next game like you're back in playing it. But I had two situations. I had once in a boss fight where I got like backed into a corner where then the enemy was up against me and it was like the hunter enemy that you can't kill, and I was like stuck, like I couldn't get back around him. And you can't kill him, so like I'm just sitting there like just beating him with my I was hitting him enough with my powered up what do you want to call it, weapon, so like he couldn't hit me, but like it was like for 5 minutes I was just punching him over and over and over again. Like,
did you have to reload? Like,
yep, I had to reload. And then I had another time where an enemy like bumped into me and it flipped me into the like environment and I just couldn't move. Like I was just stuck. And then during the betrayal scene, or actually after the betrayal, when you're back down, when you're on Aegis 7 or whatever the planet is, Aegis 3 or whatever, when you're on the planet and like there's the big reveal that like your wife is, your girlfriend's actually their scientist. Yeah. Spoilers, heavy spoilers, which I basically knew that the wife, like I never really thought the girlfriend was alive. Like I feel like they but I didn't piece together that it was this other scientist that you'd met earlier in the game. I just kind of forgot about that character, so that was kind of neat that it was actually a person. I thought it was just like in his head. But like during that scene, like Daniels kills the other scientist, and it's like this big, dramatic moment. Like, and like the shutters close, this thing, and the game just hard crash, like it just locks up, like it just freezes. Like, it's like probably the most. It's probably like the most dramatic moment in the game. Like it's like right before like the final, like boss fight, and then like I had to like restart it and like fight through like 6 or 7 enemies and like watch the entire 6-minute cutscene over again, which was so. Yeah,
way less cool.
But yeah, I don't know. The betrayal part still, like, I don't know. It was kind of cool, but like, so like she betrays you, and then you like get the ship, like she like kills the person, like she's leaving on the ship with the marker, and I think she was going to take it back to like the government for them to hide again or something. Because I mean, there's so much lore in the game through texts and stuff, but if I understand correctly, like, I was trying to like, isn't there like there was a marker that they found right on Earth, like it crashed in like a meteor, and they found it on Earth, and then they tried to like replicate it, right?
Yes, and I think the one that you see in this game is the replica, if I remember correctly.
So was it they found it though, because they went, like the government went and hid that replica on that planet, and then when they
I think so. I mean, it's been a while. So.
I'm pretty sure they hid it on the planet, and then I think like basically like the unitologists are obsessed with this thing. They want it because they're trying to like live forever or something. They think it can grant them like eternal life. I think they must have somehow figured out that it was there, because like through logs and stuff, you find out that like the crew on the Ishimura is like stacked with like unitologists. Like it's like an abnormal amount of unitologists are on board the ship. So I feel like I don't know this because I didn't get all the logs right. You know, sometimes you zone out, you're just like killing alien, you know, demon type things. But I'm pretty sure that they were pretty aware that it was there and were heading there for the marker, or at least some of them were going there for that from the get go.
Uh,
But yeah, but then like she portrays you, and then like you like she leaves on the ship to go do whatever, and like you like pull the ship back, and then she like shoots out an escape pod, and I was kind of just like, all right, well like she's out of the story, and then she just shows back up on the planet, and I'm like, wait, what? Like, and then like 8 minutes later, she gets like crushed to pieces by like the monster thing. So, which is like in the game, I don't know if it's in the original, but like it's like the classic like you know the characters trying up the steps to get the ship, and like for some reason they stop for like
yeah.
too long. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like just get on the effing ship. Like, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like too much, like it wasn't for too long, but it was still like I'm pretty sure you could have gotten inside this ship if like you were, you know, like didn't stop for a couple seconds to like, you know, yell at the main character. Like so, but yeah. So I think Isaac is the only one that makes it out of the game alive. I'm pretty sure.
In the what was I gonna ask? Oh, in the first game, Isaac in the remake, does he talk?
Yes, he does talk in the remake.
Okay, I think in the first game, I don't think he really speaks. If I'm not mistaken.
I don't. He doesn't have a voice actor in the first game.
In the second game, he does, and I think I liked it with him not talking. I think there's just something I liked about that in the first game, because after I beat the first game, and then I went back to replay the second game, him talking like suddenly just like felt really weird to me, even though I had played the second game years ago and it was the first one I played. There was just something about his character that I think works really well as one of those like silent protagonists.
I liked him talking. I mean, he doesn't talk. To be fair, like he doesn't talk a lot. It's only when like he's not doing like the classic like you're in the middle of a puzzle and he's like, "Oh, I should put the generator here." Like it's all like you know, Hammond or Daniels calls you with something and you respond back, or like Mercer, which I thought Mercer is like a bad guy in the game was awesome. I thought he was like so creepy. Like, yeah, all the unitology stuff was awesome. Like,
yeah, the whole like space cult thing is fascinating.
Yeah, I was actually just listening to like a podcast about the game today, and I love how like it's like a new religion, like because like the game takes place in like 2500 or something. So it's like this thing came to Earth in like the 2100s or something. So like, and then people were like obsessed with it. So. And I like that. I mean, another part that I love is like that everybody you're killing on the ship, like every enemy, is essentially like a crew member.
Yeah, but like, because of the marker,
they're all like, yeah. So I don't know, like, so if you get killed by one, you become one, right? Or is it just from being close to the marker? Maybe they go into it more in the second game.
That I don't quite remember. Either fate is bad.
Yeah, yeah, but it's like there's so much creepy stuff they do. Like at certain points, like. Your objective like pops up like in like for the whole game, like you click in the right thumbstick and like shows your objective and kind of gives you like a little like floating arrow like in which direction you're supposed to go. And like at certain points in the game, like once you're getting closer to the marker, like you click it in, like it pops up like the like you know your HUD thing, but it's just in like religious text, like you can't understand anything it's saying. You're like what? Like and then it just keeps changing randomly. Like
yeah, the game does a really good job of really messing with you. The second game also does that as well.
Well, even the end of the first game has like, you know, the classic jump thing. Like you're in like the shuttle leaving and then like you see your wife again, like she jumps at you and it's like, oh man. Like, so they clearly heavy inspirations from Event Horizon.
Event Horizon and Alien, those kind of horror space.
Which are some of my favorite. I love that kind of stuff. I need more of it. I don't know. I'm trying to think like, cause I haven't seen, if it's not much of it, I feel like that's like actually good. Like there's a bunch of like, you know, terrible knockoffs and stuff, but trying to think if there's any like classics that I haven't seen. I haven't seen like Alien 3, which I don't know if that one's regarded. I don't think it's regarded super well.
It was okay. I watched it last year. I mean, it's really not. It's more like an action movie.
Yeah.
I like Alien the best, then Aliens, and then Alien.
What about Prometheus? Prometheus.
Prometheus. Actually, it was okay.
I think it's fine. I think Prometheus is fine. And then I watched the new one. What was Alien Covenant? I watched that one also.
I have not seen that one.
Covenant, or wait, is it Resurrection? No, Resurrection. Is that one of the Alien movies? Alien Resurrection. Is that the third one, or is it the fourth?
Or is that
one?
the game? There's Alien Resurrection.
I can't remember. There's Alien Isolation, and there was a horrible Space Marine one that was like horrible. Like, yeah. But I love space horror. Space is creepy. Like, And then once you when you get like religious zealots and like
did you ever
creepy
see
stuff.
the Doctor Who special, The Water on Mars?
Oh yeah, I think is that the one where like the water kills you?
Yeah, like I think that's a really good like standalone. I think that's one of I think David Tennant's last episodes. Like his last year as the
Yeah.
Doctor, he kind of just had like 4 like specials, I think, if I remember correctly, and that was one of them. And that's a really good like space horror like contained story, because like even if you don't know anything about Doctor Who, because he doesn't have a companion in that either. It's just him going to I think it's on Mars. Yeah, I think it's called like the Waters of Mars or something. But
I'm trying to remember details of
that
it.
feels a lot like it has a lot of like Event Horizon vibes, and probably has some inspiration. Had some inspiration from Event Horizon would be my guess.
Yeah, there's a handful of Doctor Who episodes that are really good, like that kind of vibe.
Yeah, I think
trying to remember
for like
details of that
space
one.
horror, that one is my favorite. I'm wearing my Doctor Who shirt today, actually.
Doctor Who is like that would be a show that I would maybe like revisit and just watch specific episodes.
Yeah, Doctor Who has
or watch like future episodes that are like, oh, this is a really good episode. Like, and just watch it. But like, I can't. There's too much bad.
Well,
There's
Doctor
too much
Who
bad
has
for me.
like high highs and has some low lows.
And I can't. I mean, I don't know. Call me a snob. I just can't. I can't deal with the low lows anymore. Like,
Don't have time for that.
I can't do it. No, I don't have time for that. Like, I get that's like the point that people like that. They like the schlocky, like campy, but like I can't. Yeah.
Doctor Who has some like super campy stuff.
Is there any other good sci-fi movies? Like, I mean, I've never seen 2001, which I know that's supposed to be a classic.
I mean, I would watch it just to see. I want to rewatch it because the last time I watched it was probably 10 years ago. I wasn't a huge fan, but I've grown a lot in 10 years, so maybe I would like it some more.
Yeah. Moon. Have you seen Moon?
Oh,
Sam
yeah.
Rockwell?
Moon is really good.
Moon's great. Moon's awesome. What other ones? Didn't you say there was one with Cillian Murphy? That you wanted
Yes,
to watch?
I have not seen it. I really want to. I think it's called Sunlight or Star.
Oh, Sunshine. I think is.
Yeah, it's Danny Boyle. Directed
Is that
by Danny Boyle.
is that horror or is it
I
like
think
just
it
pure
is.
sci-fi?
I think
okay.
I think
All
it's like some like they have to like go near the sun or something, and they find an abandoned ship, and I think there's one crew member who's alive. It's like one of those. I mean,
man,
yeah,
all right,
it's
I
like,
might have to. Oh man, that
yeah,
that just gets me so excited.
I know.
I'm like,
yeah.
oh man, like
it's like it
oh,
makes you think
like,
of Event Horizon or Alien or or Dead Space, like like that kind of.
man.
So.
I guess I'm a sucker for it because I even like bad one, like the what was that one, Cloverfield Paradox or whatever, like the third Cloverfield movie. Like I
did not see that.
It was not great, but like I'm just still a sucker for it. I'm like man, like put some people on a spaceship and like put something crazy on there.
Yeah.
Like I might have to watch that tonight. Just get my fix. Like
I have not been able to find that streaming anywhere though. Just so you know, if I remember.
Wait, even
correctly.
for paying,
I
for?
don't think so. I might be wrong, but
that's what makes me the most mad is when I can't even pay for it. I'm like, just take my money. Like,
because it was like last year or a year and a half ago, I was looking for it and I could not find it anywhere. So
yeah.
Maybe, I mean, streaming platforms change all the time with what they have and what they don't. So
I really feel like
possible it's available somewhere.
I get mad when it's like, I spend the 15 minutes booting up like HBO, Netflix, Hulu, and you go through all of them. And you're like, all right, I'll go to Amazon Prime and I'll pay for it. And like you look it up and like it's just not available. And you're like, what? Like I think I was trying to watch like the original, like the Evil Dead, the Sam Raimi. I don't think you can rent it on Amazon. Like that was one recently I couldn't find. Paddington, I couldn't find Paddington to rent. Made me so mad. Like
when I watched Evil Dead, I think I got all of those from the library because I think that was the only place I was able to find him.
It's time to get a new library card.
Yep.
Like, it's really cool. Not a lot of people in their 20s are reading as much. I'm like, I want just a few movies, please. I was trying to watch. Speaking of get like irrationally angry, like I was trying to watch playoff hockey last night, and I was under the impression that like there was games for free on ESPN Plus, which
there should be.
I have, which I think I should have. So maybe I'm gonna get angry again, but like I have Hulu, and my Hulu bundle, I have Disney Plus and ESPN Plus bundled in. It's like $20 a month or something. And so I'm like, all right, well, I have ESPN Plus, and I go to like the Hulu app. I'm like, I probably have it on Hulu, and it shows all these games, and they're like, oh, they're not available until like this date or something. I'm like, all right, well, there's games on right now I want to watch. So I'm like, all right, well, I have ESPN Plus. It says in my subscription, I have ESPN Plus. So I go to ESPN Plus, whatever, the app on the PlayStation Store, and it gets it, and I'm like, all right, cool, and then I pull up like what service I'm using, and it's like Hulu, and it gives me a confirmation code. I'm like, all right, perfect. Go to ESPN on my computer. I put it in. It's like, and it just like tells me like, yeah, you don't have the subscription with Hulu that gives you ESPN Plus. And I'm like, I'm sitting here like, and I'm like looking at like, it's like, and then it gives you the option to go manage your subscriptions. I pull it up and it shows that I have like ESPN Plus. I spent like, I kid you not, I spent probably 30 minutes. I don't think I got so mad that I felt bad about it. Like, it's probably the most angry I've been. Like, I was also like, I hadn't eaten. It was like 8:30. I just like really wanted to watch hockey and eat dinner. And then like after 30 minutes trying to get to work and like screaming, like the benefits of having a house, now I can scream irrationally angry at things. Like, I had my PlayStation controller in my hands at one point. I was about to like ready to try and tear it apart.
Oh,
like, because I was so mad. Like, I never figured out how to get it to work. I got to the point where I'm like, I don't even want to watch hockey anymore. I don't even care.
Too mad.
I don't even. I'm too mad. I'm too mad to enjoy it.
Well, that's funny / sad.
It was infuriating. So like I could try to figure it out again today, but like I think most of the game's already almost done. So, and I think it would just make me angry. Like, because it was like 3 separate times I'd like hit the submit button and be like, your subscription doesn't have this. And I'm like, but I literally like, I think I was like screaming. I was like, and add some obscenities. And I'm like, I'm paying for it. I'm paying for it with my money.
Well, in a bid to make you feel better, I was wrong. Sunshine is available to rent on Amazon Prime for $2.49.
Looks like you know what? As long as my credit card goes through, it looks like I know what I get to watch while I eat my dinner tonight.
It's an hour and 47 minutes, so
great run, great run time.
Yeah. So we can. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Otherwise, we can wrap up, and then you can enjoy your dinner and a good. Well, I think it's good. I don't know. I haven't seen it. We'll find out next week. I
don't know if my dinner
might.
Yeah. Yay. Yeah. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna watch a movie, Dave? Or are you gonna play more Civ?
I have not played Civ today, so maybe I'll play some Civ. But I don't know. I'm getting kind of tired. The last 2 nights, I got sleepy like pretty early. So who knows? Maybe I'll just go to bed. It is kind of late. It's almost 9:30 p.m. Landon.
Oh no! What am I gonna do? Oh no!
All right. Well, thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with more people to talk about Lord of the Rings and Sunshine and whatever the heck.
Bo is afraid.
And Bo is afraid and whatever the heck Will was doing. So, thank you for listening.
Bye.
Goodbye. Farewell. So long.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye, Dave.
Goodbye, Landon.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Hotkeys podcast. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Castbox, YouTube, and other podcasting platforms. Visit our website, www.hotkeyspodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter at Hotkeys Podcast and join our Facebook group at facebook.com/HKHotkeys. Please like and review us and subscribe to the show on whichever platforms you use. Finally, you can contact us via email at hosts@hotkeyspodcast.com.